Supercharging Liquidity View with AI, with artificial intelligence. And you may ask the question, why possibly would I do this? What's the benefit of this? Liquidity View is already out there. I can already scan for my setup that I want to see. I can see all the additional information about my trades. Why would I do this? Well, here's some interesting ideas why this might become interesting. First of all, gain additional insights. There are so many stocks that Liquidity IQ tracks. There are so many data points for each stock that Liquidity View tracks. Looking at all these manually with your filters and with the naked eye might become a bit overwhelming. For analyzing large data sets and large amounts of data, AI is really the prime candidate for doing so because AI doesn't get tired. It's primed to do exactly these kind of tasks. So gaining potentially unseen insights about what's going on in the market could be one use case. Another use case could be that we can ask AI, hey, AI, whoever it is, ChatGPT or whatever the AI engine is, Gemini, hey AI, create me a watch list of current trade ideas based on what you see right now in the market. All right, so maybe I'll let AI do the scanning for me instead of I do my own scanning. Maybe I'm going to see some more interesting ideas. This could be a source of inspiration. And thirdly, we could ask AI to fact check and validate some ideas that we already have. Wouldn't that be cool? There was like a button somewhere in the AI. We're not there yet. Hey, say, hey, AI, fact check this watch list that we just put together for me. Which trades would you take? Yet another interesting use case for combining artificial intelligence with our Liquidity View dashboard. All right, now let's attempt this together. All right, so a couple of ground rules. First off, we're going to keep it simple for today. Why? Because we have to start somewhere. I don't want this to be super overwhelming. Let's keep it simple. Let's just run some simple tasks with AI and see what we get. And for this, we're going to use an AI engine, which probably is the most well-known one. We're going to use the latest version of ChatGPT. Of course, there are many other AI engines out there, Grok, Gemini, and so forth. But today, just use the most popular one, ChatGPT, and the latest version of it. We're also going to manually feed our data, instructions, and questions into ChatGPT. And then, of course, we're also going to manually analyze the answers. So all this to say, just to keep it simple, let's just start doing something and see where we get. Of course, the end goal of all this is that eventually, we're not there yet, we're going to have this built into the dashboard. But for this, we need to build up for it. We have to make up our mind to see what are the best ways of utilizing AI when it comes to the dashboard. So one way to do it is to just start manually with it. Sounds good? Let's go. All right. Now, for every AI solution, it is absolutely imperative to give it good instructions, but also good data to work with. Now, let's just go back one step. What would be good data for an AI engine when it comes to our Liquidity View dashboard? This dashboard here with all the different filters, with the charting, with all the different functions built in. Well, we certainly did have a bunch of training courses, as you remember, for our dashboard. Most notably, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I have recorded a very comprehensive bootcamp explaining every single feature of the dashboard. Of course, the AI would need to know how this dashboard works in the first place to make use of or sense of the data. Couldn't it be a good idea to potentially give it the entire transcript of our bootcamp as an input so the AI can be trained based on this? I believe that's a good idea. For this, what I've done is I have taken the recording of our bootcamp and used another AI engine to create an automated transcript based on this bootcamp recording. This can be downloaded via this link here, tradingindicators.com/transcript. And I'm posting these links because that will enable you to do the same thing, do the same exercise. So I'll give you all the inputs, which I will be using right now. So the transcript of our Liquidity View bootcamp is available here. Simply click on it. We'll open up a PDF. You can download it. It's called Bootcamp Liquidity View Transcript. You download it, and then you have it in your file system. We're going to feed this into ChatGPT later on. Another input Another part of training material that will feed into ChatGPT is our brand new guide or e-guide about the Liquidity View dashboard. To use our dashboard, very nicely described how the dashboard works, what would be a good workflow, and so forth. So a really nice getting started guide for every Liquidity View user. So we're going to use this one also as an input to ChatGPT. But you may say, okay, well, these are like generic things. How can an AI engine possibly find us some insights based on what's going on right now in the markets? Great question, because for this, we will also feed our AI engine a full export, all the columns of what we see right now in the scanner. For example, about the S&P 500 stocks. Okay, so what does this mean? Let me go back to the dashboard. You can see all these data points. You can see it here. Heat index, ME-Rush, pullback, price data, and so forth. We can export all these data points to CSV, the current prices, the current setups, and so forth, simply by clicking this button here. But don't do it right away, because I still want to limit it a little bit. I want to focus on the S&P 500. Why? Because we want to keep it simple in the beginning. If we're all over the place, maybe it's going to be more confusing to the AI engine than anything. So let's just focus for today on the S&P 500 stocks. But besides the default columns here, I want to add some additional columns to it. I'm just going to add actually every single column that we have in our dashboard to our scanner. That's why all these columns were selected in the first place. You can see it here. Selecting all of these. So let's just go crazy. All right. All these different columns. And by the way, these are all described in our bootcamp. They're all selected. It's like a huge list here. You can see it here. And we're going to export all of this to a CSV file simply by clicking this button here. So I click it. It's exporting. It's done. And if you open this one up in Excel, the export is a CSV file, you can see it's a huge data set. 1 second. I'm going to show it to you. Look, all this data. We're going to feed all this data into ChatGPT, trying to see if ChatGPT, with the training materials we're going to give it, can make sense of it to begin with, and perhaps find some additional insights about the markets, about setups that we perhaps haven't seen today. That's our idea. So we're going to do a full export of all these columns and feed this into ChatGPT. All right. How does this work? Create a new project. The project's here. New project. I'm going to give it a name. Liquidity View Insights. Let's say part 1, because today is the first day we're going to do it. Create project. It's going to create a brand new project for me. It's completely empty. And the first thing, what I will do right now is to add our material, which we just downloaded, as sources to ChatGPT. There's a button here called Sources. I'm going to click Add. I'm just going to drag this into. So the first thing, what we're going to add is our bootcamp. Transcript the bootcamp, the one I just showed you on the web. And you have the link for this. Done. Edit. Next, I'm going to be also adding our e-guide. The e-guide is going to be part of it. It's going to be our training material to make sense of the data. And of course, thirdly, we are also going to add the actual data, the CSV export, to our sources. And we're going to ask ChatGPT in a second to use the information in our guides and transcripts to make sense of the data here in the CSV file to find us additional insights. Okay, now, but we're not there yet. For every AI engine, it is really important to give it really clear instructions. Otherwise, it's going to wander off and give you some information which is probably not correct. For this, I'm going to lay down the ground rules for once. I'm going to tell ChatGPT, moving forward, please follow these instructions. Use the Liquidity View Dashboard e-guide and the Liquidity View Bootcamp transcript as your foundational training material. These sources remain stable. That means they don't change from day to day. Then use the CSV file, one we just downloaded from the dashboard, for your dynamic analysis. This data may change from day to day, just so you get some context, because you may do this over time as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my slides real quick, and I will copy these instructions. If I can find them here, I'm just going to copy these. So I wrote them up so nicely. Copy them, and it's going to paste them into ChatGPT right here. So and chat, I'm going to put it in here. paste them in. Okay, maybe I can format this a little bit nice, even though ChatGPT does not care about this. Yeah, but at least for me, I can see if I go back in my history of my chat, it looks quite nice. So I'm gonna say, do this, and it's gonna now process it. It's thinking, reading documents, all right, great. And once done, just give it a second. It should tell you, it should acknowledge these instructions. All right, understood. I will use Liquidity View Dashboard eGuide and Liquidity View Bootcamp transcript as the stable foundation and the CSV as the changing day-to-day analysis input. Okay, sounds sensible. Great. But of course, now the actual work starts. We have to ask it some questions. What kind of prompts do we want ChatGPT to follow? Prompt could be analyze. So these are some questions we could ask ChatGPT now to find us these insights. Analyze the overall market conditions from the data and the CSV file. Let's just see what it comes up with. How's that sound? So I'm gonna, once again, copy this. So I wrote this already. I'm gonna copy this into ChatGPT and let's see what we can see, what it can find out. So do this. All right, so it's thinking. Okay, this is something everybody can do on its own at home. And of course, eventually the goal is to integrate this into the dashboard. But for now, perhaps the manual analysis is good enough. Great, so we get our answer here, an initial answer about the overall market. And look at this, market structure. It told us, for example, that according to our MA Rush indicator, in the S&P 500s, that's the data set we downloaded, 319 stocks are still bullish, as per the MA Rush reading, and 184 stocks are bearish. And giving us basically a 3 to 2 ratio here. And says the market is still net bullish from a structural standpoint. However, it is not a strong dominant trend environment. All right, so this reflects a late stage of fragile uptrend, not early expansion. Well, that's true. Maybe not so much late stage, I'm hoping at least, but definitely fragile. Yeah, you can see all these insights it gives to you. Okay, that's pretty cool. But of course, we already knew this. That's pretty much what we already knew. And I'm not going to read through the entire thing right now. But let's ask it something more concrete. What if we asked ChatGPT, hey, ChatGPT, why don't you find us some interesting bullish swing trading setups? Swing trading. Let's do this. So, let's paste this in here. Identify the best bullish swing trading setups. All right. Enter. Let's see what happens. And David, you're asking a great question. I'm going to comment on this in a second. All right. So look at this. It even knows, because of our training material, what we're looking for. Bullish MA Rush. That's always what I tell you. Hey, the trend is your friend. Pullback level 3 to 4, healthy retracement, and a long bounce near support. That's pretty cool. Preference for a clean structure plus favorable reward to risk ratio. Okay, let's check it out. Let's see what it has. High confluence. NVIDIA. Long bounce. Strong uptrend plus pullback into support. Really? Huh. Let's check it out. I would be surprised to see NVIDIA. I didn't see it. I definitely saw Broadcom down here. But let's check out NVIDIA. Let's see if there's any merit to it. And let's see. What do we see about NVIDIA? All right, let's open it up. Yeah, I'm not sure where it got the long bounce from. You can see it's not perfect. I guess that this is now where the next steps come in. Let me just see what we see here in our Liquidity IQ setup column. Yeah, definitely no long bounce. Strange. That's very strange. But nonetheless, I mean, it's not the worst setup. Maybe it saw here Liquidity IQ capture setups here 3 bars ago and concluded from this, hey, we are in some sort of long bounce scenario. Who knows? We're going to have to investigate this. But let's move on. Microsoft. Also long bounce, established uptrend plus structured pullback. Okay. Microsoft. Oh, this one is true. Long bounce setup. Okay. That's nice. So here we're coming down to a long bounce. Of course, we are in definitely more than a level 3 or level 4 pullback. It's a deep pullback here down to this level. But nonetheless, okay. Microsoft is one idea here. All right. Even though the trend has turned to bearish, you can see that it's not perfect yet. And it requires some additional training. But what we want to do, what I want to do, now step by step, as we are approaching this, first of all, learn and understand what kind of information we need to give to an AI solution to come up with good insights, which actually will help us traders. So this will take a little bit while. And once done, we're going to use all this input, all what we've learned from it. I'm sharing this with you because I think it's interesting to, see how this can be approached. And if you guys have any feedback or comments on this, I'll be more than happy to take this into account. To identify, okay, how could an AI support solution look like for our dashboard? And then, David, that's where your question comes in. I can definitely foresee some AI features here where we get an AI watch list every day. Hey, these are the trades based on what AI found, dynamically generated. We can have a dynamic AI-based market summary with some key insights. Where we have a feature, let's say are going to our watch list from last Saturday, and there might be a button somewhere here. Hey, fact check or validate these picks. All these things, I think, could be of interest. Or perhaps you can ask AI a question. Hey, AI, I'm already in this trade. Should I get out of it? Because we know managing a trade is just as important as getting into the trade in the first place. So all these things are something we have in mind and which we want to integrate eventually into our dashboard.